cure me, tell me to come over. We can get high together. When we're feeling lonely, fuck it when I'm sober. We can just fly together. Feel so low when I'm without you, don't got dough, but what I got is potential. You know that I am rich with that. Stay with me, it's only growth, we don't plateau. I know you dealt with shitty past, I promise always got your back. Yeah, keep it ice cold. Yeah, baby, ice cold. We can't let no one know that I've been waking up at your place. Keep it ice cold. Yeah, baby, ice cold. We can't let no one know that I've been waking up at your place. I've been buzzing thinking about you all day, yeah. I hope you know you're not alone, baby. I bring you closer to me, goddamn, baby. Got me feeling complete, I guess it's your divine energy. I feel your divine energy. Yeah, I bring you closer to me, goddamn. I feel better when you're closer to me. Yeah, your divine energy. I feel your divine energy. I'll probably never drive a Monte Carlo, but I still be shutting in the room like Doomslayer, Donnie Darko. Feel so low when I go down the depths of my brain. That shit got me feeling insane. I'm fucked up, no question about it. Drawn to you like my head to concussions. We got something about function. Show you off at family functions. One thing that I've learned, I don't know nothing. I'm not bluffing, stop your fronting. Is this love or is this nothing? I bring you closer to me, goddamn, baby. Got me feeling complete, I guess it's your divine energy. I feel your divine energy. Yeah, I bring you closer to me. Goddamn, I feel better when you're closer to me. Yeah, your divine energy. I feel your divine energy. Your divine energy. Your divine energy. I can feel it when you're looking at me. Your divine energy. I can feel it when you're looking at me. Your divine energy. Yo. Tear me pieces all on my own. Smile and try to pretend nothing's falling apart. The skin I grew up in didn't even care. All in all, wasting my days, trapped in my skull. And all, feel so alone, but I'm not lonely at all. Take
Yo, what is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Big news came out. CPI. Anyone who is in the financial space, as long as you don't live under a rock, you know that we've had the worst CPI data in 30 years. But according to Joe Biden, um, it's actually not that bad if you count out food and shelter. Unbelievable that he said something like that. Look, you can lean whatever political party you want, but lying to people is absolutely unacceptable. You guys know me. I give you guys the honest truth, even if it hurts. Even if I'm wrong, I'll still give you the truth. Or even if it doesn't go towards my bias, I'll still give you the truth. But anyways, I wanted to start this live stream off just with a heartfelt message of, guys, make sure that you do have funds, a security fund, or I guess a fund where if shit hits the fan, you can take care of yourself for a couple months. Whether that means taking money out of your trading account, whether that means stop trading overall. I'm telling you right now that there is not going to be a melt up. There is not going to be some epic bull run happening anytime soon. There has never in the history of any asset class been a melt up, V-shaped bull run scenario after the worst macroeconomic conditions have been presented to us. Now, I will say, are we getting closer to our DCA time period? Absolutely. I believe the next leg down will probably be the last, if not the second last. But for now, guys, if you're one of those people that struggles to get by or lives paycheck to paycheck and you're trying to trade to change your life, postpone it. Seriously, save money for yourself, to feed yourself, take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, your health is what matters the most. With all that said, not a big crowd today, no worries. It is Wednesday, and I did live stream a bit earlier than I normally do, but I needed to get this done because I wanted to take my dog to the river while there's still some light outside. But all right, gonna start with stocks first. You guys pretty much know how I feel. Ultimately, we're just in a corrective standpoint, most likely going lower. We didn't quite, this was just a random scenario I drew, but ultimately we did get a bounce, and I'm anticipating us to break the 29,800 level to continue lower. Ultimately, I believe COVID lows will be tested, but we will see once we get there. S&P still rocking that good old head and shoulders pattern. Lots of continuation here. Nothing really says reversal. I will point out this. I don't really look at the index charts on the lower time frames, but someone had asked me in my trading class today, so I thought I'd give it a look. But it looks like what happened ultimately this morning. We do have a double top here, and it has been confirmed. So ultimately, I am thinking that we go lower. We've seen the same kind of volume pattern, this low volume, rising price, and then when volume starts to come in, we dump. Low volume, rising price, dump once volume starts to steep up, and then again, just a nice correction, low volume. Now that volume's coming in, now that a double top on the 15-minute has been confirmed, here you go, double top, confirmation. Ultimately, might chill here and then dump further. Guys, I don't know why anyone would be longing in this market. I don't know why anyone would be ultimately betting against the macroeconomic conditions. Could some crazy scenario happen where we get a nice little pump? Sure. But the most you'll get is 10 to 15% in crypto. You might get 5% in the stock market. Again, I don't understand why anybody is calling for a bottom. I don't understand why anyone thinks that this is even close to finished yet. We haven't even reached a period of fear and doubt, and ultimately, no one's really suffered yet, right? We're heading into the bear market. We didn't just go through one. I think a lot of people have had it quite easy. I think a lot of people have been, they got the COVID checks. They were able to take on like loans with almost zero interest. And the days of the free money brigade are over. So we will see where we move from here. But ultimately, you guys know I am quite bearish on macro environment. Bitcoin looks manipulated today. Yes, it's because everybody shorted the lows right after CPI. and they were able to basically liquidate everybody, and now it will go lower. When I get into Bitcoin, I'll explain that, but I don't know why people were shorting in our demand zone. I tell my students every single time they trade, don't short demand, don't short the demand zone, don't open shorts in the demand zone. If we go under demand, then by all means, let's break down, short it. If we break down and retest, short it. But if we're in demand, don't short. You are participating in the short squeeze that is about to happen. Rome, we can save some money and come to crypto and start. When we hit the bottom, I believe we can buy and stay relaxed. No, what I'm trying to say is we are about to go through some tough times in market-wise, economic-wise. Things are going to be expensive. People are going to lose money. You might lose your job. And what I'm trying to tell you is any extra money you have, instead of going on that big expensive vacation, or instead of, putting more money in your trading account, maybe hold on to it for a little while. Maybe be a little bit more conservative, because things are going to get much worse before they get better. I'm here. Much respect. Thank you, Leon. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, let's keep chugging along. NASDAQ, same thing. Not want to waste a lot of time here. Okay, the symbol does not provide volume data. That is awesome. I might have to put a new NASDAQ symbol in. That is ridiculous. Or I'll figure it out later. But for now, I mean, same kind of thing, guys. We're ultimately looking to lose the support level at about 11,000. Here's the DXY. Not entirely sure why anyone says it's topped, why anyone says we are done pumping. This is ultimately extremely bullish. I don't know any other way to say that. There's nothing stopping this thing. We're going up at a rate that is parabolic. Ultimately, people will tell you that this is divergence and all this and that. Honestly, I don't believe so. I think at some point all of this doesn't matter, and we're literally just in a parabolic advance. Both fundamentally and technically, the dollar is extremely bullish. I saw analysts today saying, "Oh, we've peaked inflation, we've peaked commodities, we've peaked all this other bullshit," and I'm here to tell you that where are you seeing first of all, where are you seeing a resistance hit? We have not hit resistance. Our resistance zone is between 111 and 110. The next one being 120. Where are you seeing a reversal pattern? Where are you seeing any sort of topping scenario? We literally got the worst economic data we possibly could have gotten. Was some of it priced in? Maybe. Honestly, no, but maybe. No one knew that 9.1 was going to happen unless you were, unless you had insider info or something. Nobody knew that. Yeah, don't fight the trend, exactly. Can I identify the demand zone? Yes, I will absolutely point that out on Bitcoin. What do I think about the pi cycle bottom? I think it's a bunch of bullshit, and I think it's not worth anyone's time to use macro indicators that were used during a bullish economy when we are now in a bearish economy. It just makes no sense to me why anyone still uses these indicators that mean absolutely nothing when the macro is bearish. Pi cycle that says the only thing that is the bottom right out 6 out of 6 times, but 6 out of 6 times during a bull market, during a macro, one of the largest bull markets that we've ever seen. So is this indicator accurate in a bear market? It hasn't been tested yet. And if I'm going to be honest with you, when we get to Bitcoin, no, I don't think so. We're literally below one of the largest supports Bitcoin's ever had by about 15% now. We retested it over the last weekend with low volume. And again, I don't understand why. If you look at one indicator and you're like, oh my God, the bull market's back on. Like, you need to rethink how you're trading. You need multiple indications. You need sentiment. You need fundamental analysis. Like, fundamentally, we are in a horrible bear market where we are about to really see a horrible bear market. People are about to suffer tenfold once they run out of money, once the free money stops coming in. Ultimately, yeah, again, I think the pi cycle, whatever it is, I've never used it. I don't care for it, and honestly, I think it's a waste of time. Total charts, not going to waste a lot of time here, but consolidating between support and resistance. Total 2, same thing, and total 3, same thing. Ultimately, I am anticipating some sort of a relief rally at some point. I mean, this is an unbelievable correction not to have some kind of relief rally. So ultimately, anticipating relief, but wouldn't be surprised if we just kept heading down. I mean, Bitcoin and crypto are volatile, speculative assets that have absolutely no use case as of right now. Am I bullish on them long term? Yes. But do they have any use case right now? No. Bitcoin can literally not get me anything. If I showed up to a car dealership with a Bitcoin, they wouldn't even take it. I know that there are some private car dealerships that are like, oh, we'll take your Bitcoin. No, like none of the ones around me do. I can't buy my gas with Bitcoin. I can't buy my groceries with Bitcoin. So ultimately not really seeing any use case as of right now. Will that change? Most likely. USDT.D, USDT dominance. Ultimately consolidation for more upside. This is a big bull flag. USDT dominance being bullish is very, very bearish for crypto. This is not bullish at all. And once I said that this broke, Bitcoin dumped. And guess what happened? Bitcoin dumped. Ultimately, looking at the daily, we do have a very, very questionable double bottom. Ultimately need to get above this little orange rectangle. If we flip this, turn it into support, and continue higher, well, you know what happens next to Bitcoin. It is going to absolutely nuke. But for now, still in this kind of consolidation zone, still kind of trading between, or ping-ponging between support and resistance. Ultimately, I do think we go to the upside. This is a big bull flag, not bear flag. And macro-wise, I just see no reason that crypto should go on some crazy bull market or have some crazy relief rally when literally every single macro point made today was bearish. How long will this bear market go until they fix it? I have no idea. I'm not a genie, unfortunately. Last time the Dow Jones went up 500% in 10 years was 1929. Well, they called them the golden years for a reason. And then guess what happened right after that? Depression. I shorted at 19K today, and now Bitcoin rallying up. Well, you shorted it literally in the middle of a demand zone. So I'm not sure. Again, I don't know why people were shorting demand. Just to pull out the Bitcoin chart to discuss this. Guys, if you shorted this morning below 19.3, you were shorting demand. This is a demand zone. So, demand. I tell my students, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, open a short in demand. You never know if there's going to be a bounce. You never know if something's going to, like news may come out and we could rock it up. You never know if an exchange is going to scam pump, or there could be a bunch of orders that flow in. You never know. Where do you short? Below demand zone. You short below it, below this box. If you want to learn how to draw these, you can join my trading class. If not, I'm not going to spend the time to draw these. It's really not that complicated, but if you want to learn how to draw them, you can join my trading class. But yeah, guys, for all of you that shorted demand, you are half the reason why we had a short squeeze this morning. You're part of the reason why we bounced. Ultimately, I am thinking that we do break this demand zone at some point. As you guys know, I'm macro bearish. I don't see anything that's bullish in the slightest. Big keynote here. We're below the 200. We actually had a breakdown, had a retest, and now are continuing our rampage to the downside. Ignore this volume candle. That was big Binance wash trading. But if we look on Coinbase, it was some of the lowest volume we've had over the last 15 to 20 weeks. Let's see. about 15 to 20 weeks. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, this is a very, very perfectly bearish scenario. Retest the break down through the 200, retest the 200, continue going lower. Nice bear screen. Oh, that's my dog. He's waiting to go on the river. What up, Cheese? You want to join me on the Twitter space? I think we're going to do it on Friday. I think Savage is going to join. Am I shorting now? Yes, I'm in a short at like 19.9. I can go over why, but I entered a small short at 19.9. Check the daily. It's getting resistance from trend lines since 48K till now. It's actually not. I don't know how you draw your trend lines, but it's actually not. The resistance is from here. We'd have to touch about 28K for it to hit that resistance. Hugely overbought DXY. Yeah, but it could continue. Just being overbought doesn't mean something won't continue to the upside. How much for the trading class? You can check that out on Patreon. Man, I don't know how to say that name, but thank you for the greetings from Bulgaria, and thank you for the kind words. I can tweet in space with you. Awesome, dude. Yeah, for those of you that are new to the live stream, real quick, I live stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern, unfortunately. Did a little earlier today. I want to take my dog to the river and let him go swim. So he's over there waiting for me to finish. Taking a nap, I guess. Sleeping on the job. But with that said, guys, I think I'm going to do a trading space, a Twitter space with Savage, a couple people from my Discord, and I've reached out to a couple other individuals. We'll tweet the full list tomorrow of who I'm thinking who will speak, but we'll see. Best leverage and time frame to use. No leverage in the 4-hour and daily. I base every single indication off the daily, so I draw my support or demand and supply or resistance based off the daily. I draw my trend lines based off the daily, my volume off the daily. Other than that, the only chart I look at under the daily is the 4-hour. Apologies for some a-holes in Savage's Discord. Dude, I don't really care. A lot of those guys have like, and this isn't necessarily me trying to flex, but when someone with less than a year of trading experience and a $200 portfolio attacks me when I have 6 years and I've seen 1,000 times what they have. I've worked in the financial industry for 5-ish years. I worked at a major hedge fund, one of the largest hedge funds in Southern Florida. And, worked on the trading floor, worked with CFAs and analysts and chief economist. Wow, I fucked that up. Economists. Man, brains everywhere. But regardless, I have a lot of financial experience, and having some clown say whatever, I mean, it is what it is. I just came to help, and from moving forward, I'm just going to block them. Well, I also had, and it's funny, like I had other people with similar experience like come in and try and help, and like one of the guys has $100 million portfolio, and someone was like, oh, you're an old school stock trader. And it's funny because the guy with the $100 million portfolio is younger than I am. Check Bitcoin dominance before. We'll get to Bitcoin dominance. Fed going to change from 0.75 to 1 for next hike, I bet. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even matter to me what they hike. Obviously, taking a more aggressive approach, I'm actually more bullish on, because that means that this recession will end faster. A less aggressive approach, so below 7.5, that would be more bearish for me. I think they need to attack this thing now. It's like an illness. The longer you let it run in your system, the worse it gets. The quicker you go to the doctor, which is a pain in the ass, go get medicine, which you got to pay for and is a pain in the ass. The quicker you feel better. So I think attacking it now, letting business and markets suffer for a little bit now is better longer term, and obviously gives us quicker buying opportunities. If they let this thing play out long term, it's not good. They need to ignore midterms and start thinking about the good of everyone and not the good of politicians. Because this notion of the good of politicians is just complete bullshit, and I'm so tired of it. And I'm tired of watching people suffer under the hands of people that shouldn't even be running a country. They're just there to get a paycheck or help their buddies launder money. In case of relief rally, do you see? No, I don't see Bitcoin above 22.5. Like, we literally broke down and retested the 200 weekly, and I just don't see us going back above. It's, if you compare this to what's happened when we tried to use this as support, I mean, look at this. We didn't break down. We didn't close here. And obviously that was a black swan event, so that made sense. But ultimately, if we use it as support so many times and now we break it, retest it, why on earth would we just go back above? Use the 200 weekly as a guideline. And again, this notion that Bitcoin's going to go to 30K and 28K or 40K or whatever in the near term is just complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. If you are trading and using TA, this is one of the biggest indications for you, the 200 weekly, on stock indexes, on crypto, on any asset. Pay attention to the 200 weekly. Odds of Bitcoin rallying back to retest the 200 MA? Probably none. I don't see any reason why we'd go up after yesterday. What happened this morning was just ultimately it was just a short squeeze because everyone shorted demand. I've talked about this several times. Don't short demand. Let's even see. So look, we get our CPI data, right? We nuke. Everyone, by the time that data comes out, it's too late. You're out. You're out of luck. I mean, this happened over like a 2-minute time span. We dropped 20 to 19.3, so we dropped like 3% in the matter of minutes, seconds. I'm pretty sure it was seconds. But by that point, by the time the data got out, everyone was shorting here, right? Then they were in profit a little bit here. They're like, woo, I'm the smartest guy ever. We're going to lose 19K. We already lost it. And now I'm going to make a lot of money on my short. Well, you actually fueled the short squeeze, and we squeezed all the way back up to where we dropped. Now we're consolidating. We actually failed to get a higher high, so I'm anticipating this to come back down. And I'm guessing that now that we're here, a lot of people that shorted this morning that either lost on the trade or are about to lose on the trade because they'll probably close it. Once we drop, they're going to be like, oh, well, we're just going to pump up again, and then we're going to actually nuke. And then they'll end up shorting the next low. So ultimately, guys, I've always said this, do not short in demand. There is absolutely zero reason to be shorting demand. And this is our whole demand zone in here from 19.3 all the way to 18.8. Don't short in demand. Do you see daily volume as high in this retracement of the demand zone? Well, we had a volatile news event, so I mean, we literally dropped, pumped all the way. Actually, we pumped all the way up, dropped all the way back down, pumped all the way up again, and now we're sitting in the medium. To be honest, I don't think this volume candle really matters. It's just this candle is just ultimately volatility. I'd like to see this retrace down to 19.3 tonight, which I fully believe it will. Greetings from Munich. What's up, Mike? How's it going? Bro, not from 60K, open daily chart and draw a trend line down from 48K. I literally can't. I don't draw trend lines like that. I don't even see how you can draw a trend line from 48K. I mean, maybe if you I mean, I guess, but we're still not even hitting that point. And again, diagonal lines don't really matter much to me. I have them plotted on the chart mainly for you guys. I know people like to see the visual, but for now, I mean, pretty much just repeating what we've been doing since, 46K. Just making bear flags the whole way down. I think we'll continue to ultimately drop down. Oh, excuse me. But all right, let's look at the 4-hour. So, first things first, big CPI candle here. One thing that I do note is we are rejecting the 9 moving average, estimated moving EMA, 9 EMA. So ultimately we've rejected it all the way down. Now we're rejecting it again. We actually got a nice pump to the 21. If you were to short, you'd short the 21. I ended up shorting at 19.9. I was in the gym, so I was not paying attention to this, but luckily when I opened up my chart, we were at 19.9, so I shorted. My stop is break even. I'm not willing to take a risk on this trade, especially with how much volatility is going on. MACD could roll bullish. Ultimately, I don't see a reversal pattern. I don't see any divergences on RSI. So for me, the 4-hour really doesn't tell me much other than that we're kind of consolidating here to drop again. I don't see anything that suggests going up yet. But here at the 1 hour, just looking at moving averages again, we really need to close a candle below 19.6. Looks like we just kind of bounced around these two EMAs, wick down, wicked up. Ultimately need to get below 19.6. One thing I do see is possibly an inverted head and shoulders if 19.3 holds. But other than that, that's my only short-term bullish scenario. Obviously, I'd like to see volume come in very, very low if we get to 19.3, and then maybe I'll consider a long. But for now, you have low volume, price moving up, making a lower high here. I fully expect 19.3 to be tested. And there you go. That's why I expect 19.3 to be tested. Too late to short. I would not short here. Your risk reward is not worth. Ultimately, you're looking at a 2% down to a 2% up. So it's not worth risk reward to short right now. Greetings from Romania. Greetings from the U.S. Next support from 19, I believe there's some slight support at like 16.5, but after that it's 13.7. Any chance we see 10 to 13K in relative short term? I think it's very possible. Excuse me. I think it's very possible. Very possible, but then again, I mean, we're holding demand, right? Like we didn't close below demand. We're actually going to close this day green, it looks like. So unless we just nuke over the next hours, looks like we're going to close this day green, which is kind of weird considering our CPI data. Like I wouldn't really expect this candle to be green, but we had a short squeeze today. Everyone shorted demand, and the exchanges took advantage of that. Now I think they're just kind of like bouncing around to making it boring so everyone stops watching a chart and they can dump it tonight. That's what I would imagine it would. You look at Ethereum. We'll look at Ethereum in a minute. I always do Ethereum last. But let's even see like the 15-minute. Like, yeah, I mean, look at this. This is all this is a short liquidation. You have volume going down, price going up. I mean, this is textbook short liquidation strategy. I'd like to see this go down soon, though. I don't want to see this come back up, partially because, yeah, I'm in a short, but I don't want to see us go all the way back here. That, to me, wouldn't make a lot of sense. Right, let's look at dominance. Dominance looking like we have a bull trap here. Dominance is tough, and I'm actually going to probably stop looking at this because apparently the stablecoin, like the amount of stablecoins factors into Bitcoin dominance. It's not just Bitcoin versus altcoins. So to me, this chart becomes less relative just based on stablecoins being used more and etc. So to me, I don't know if I'm going to use this that much. I'd rather use USDT. The dominance chart isn't really giving me accurate data, but for now we will. It does look like a failed double bottom. We did get a breakout, but it ended up being fake, and now we're retracing. I'd say any lower and it is a confirmed fake out, but if this does rise, we could see Bitcoin dump. But again, I'm not. It's hard to make conclusions anymore because stablecoins are factored into it so heavily now. But here's Ethereum, last but not least. Let's look at the daily. It looks like Ethereum broke down out of our diagonal at 11.15 over here. Is now at 11.76. So ultimately, very, very clean chart here. I do see MACD rolling over. I do see RSI trendline lost. What's holding this thing up is ultimately Bitcoin, right? If Bitcoin started dumping, this thing would absolutely plummet. But I wouldn't be surprised if we held this and continued moving on, whether we go up or down. It looks like we kind of held our demand zone here, and just to give you guys a better perspective of the demand zone. Yeah, it looks like we actually wicked quite below our demand zone for a brief amount of time, but for now, it's tough to say. And guys, I really wouldn't recommend trading alts right now. Like they're very, very hard to predict because Bitcoin is ultimately in control. Has Capo reached back out to me? He has. He said he can't do it. He won't. He just won't. Which is fine. You know, it's his call. He's ultimately, I think he's just trying to stay anonymous. Ultimately, and to be fair, that's perfectly fine on his part. He can do what he pleases. But yeah, he said he couldn't make it out. Right, let's look at Ethereum to Bitcoin dominance, and then I'm going to call it a day. Just looking at the weekly here again, kind of in a flag formation here, more or less bear flag, and I'm anticipating us to hit 0.43. We had a head and shoulders ultimately confirm, and that's why Ethereum nuked harder than Bitcoin. But for now, I'm fully expecting this flag to break down and Ethereum to lose about 20% of its value, or 20% more of its value compared to Bitcoin. But yeah, guys, I'm going to end it here. I'm looking to do a Twitter space probably tomorrow, if not Friday. I'll let you know for sure on the time, tomorrow. And with all that said, guys, if you're interested in trading with a better exchange, BitGet just added trailing stop losses to ultimately their trading platform. If you use my link, you get 15% off fees. They also have this really cool feature where you can put trigger orders in with pre-made stop losses. That is actually something I've looked for in an exchange, and I'm really grateful to have it, because if I'm asleep and I see a good entry, or if I wanted to enter a small position, I can put in a trigger order with a pre-made stop loss. That way I can sleep comfortably. Yeah, if you use my link, you get 15% off fees and up to about a $4,100 deposit bonus. With all that said, guys, please be patient, use risk management, and good luck trading.